Hey guys, we're back doing another Modern Masters Phantom Draft. As you can see, I've been pretty successful in the meantime, just playing on my own. Got 4 trophies. Um, I was considering trying to make a little bit of a run, but I've got school and stuff going on, so I don't think I'm really going to be able to do that. But I have been having tons of success in this format. My record currently in matches is 16-2, I believe. I've gone 4-0, or I've gone 3-0 4 times, and I've gone 2-1 twice. So yeah, hopefully we'll be able to get another trophy out of this one. No guarantees, obviously. It's a very high-powered format, so the decks you play against are very good. But yeah, I've been doing really well, and I've been really enjoying it too at the same time. I've been drafting, I think there are like 2 main archetypes in this format, sort of like a token aggro thing with basically that's usually base green-white, can be mostly like Naya. That's the deck I drafted in the first video. Can also be like Jund with Falcon Wrath Noble, Sacrifice stuff like that. And then just like big multicolor control, which is usually based more on the Esper colors, blue-black. That's sort of the main color combo that you're usually in. But yeah, I mean, it can be any sort of amount of colors, from like 3 to 5. So those have been like the 2 major archetypes, although obviously like there's tons of variation within those 2. But that's usually what I'm looking to draft. I've been drafting a lot of multicolor control, and then I think I had that first deck and then another really good tokens deck. That one had like 3 Call of the Conclave, a ton of Populate, just was excellent. I 3-0-6-0'd that one in like 20 minutes, which was probably the best deck I've had in this format. I've definitely been getting lucky. I mean, you have to get lucky to go something like 16-2, but I've also, I think, been drafting really well. I really like this type of format where it's basically like, how can you make the meta work to fix or to fit the most powerful cards you can into a deck, and while still not losing to the aggro decks. So yeah, I've really been enjoying this format. Hopefully we will get a sweet card in our pack 1. Let's see what we got going on. Wow, okay, so there are 3 amazing white cards here. Blade Splicer, Master Splicer, and Path. Path is probably the best among them. I would really love to take a Blade Splicer or a Master Splicer. Those would put us more into the token aggro end of things. Whereas Path, we could definitely play in a token aggro, although since we're passing these, I'm not totally sure I want to go in that direction. But Path is also just a great removal spell in sort of the Esper multicolored decks. So I think I'm just going to take Path, although these 2 are both very close. I think Path is just such a solid card. It's, one of the best removal spells ever printed, so we're just going to go with that. The rest of this pack is pretty atrocious, to be honest. Centaur Healer is fine, but not exciting at all. Serum Visions is fine, but not exciting. Magma Jet is, solid. It's good, but it's not a high pick, I would say. And then the rest of the stuff is just pretty awful. So yeah, I think Path is like not an easy pick here, but I think probably the clearly correct pick. Leaves us the most open. Okay, Opportunity, tons of card advantage, great in the big control decks. I'm probably just going to take that one. Penumbra Spider is also great. We had plenty of those in our first draft. Also great, but Opportunity is just such a uniquely powerful effect in this format. It's really hard to lose a game with the Control Mirror when you resolve an Opportunity. So I think I'm just going to take that. We see a Guildgate that could come around. We're definitely looking to pick up as many of those as we can, although something like the green-white Guildgate isn't necessarily going to be the ones we're most looking for. We're most looking for probably like, the blue and black centered Guildgates, and Azorius Guildgate too, like kind of the Esper colors. I really like Esper in this format. Although, you can make a multicolor deck that isn't based around Esper. I think Esper seems to be like the most common version of that deck. Base Esper probably splashing 1 to 2 colors. So yeah, we'll go with Opportunity. Just super solid card. So much card advantage. Alright, what do we have next? Okay, Call of the Conclave is basically the best card you can have in the tokens deck. which makes it doesn't totally go with our theme right now, but Bant is certainly a possibility. Sin Collector is very good. It's just a super solid, usually a 2-for-1 creature with an enter the battlefield ability. I think I'm probably going to take Call here, though. I haven't been able to make Bant work quite yet in this format, but I think it could easily happen with, something like the picks we have. And, I could even abandon this opportunity if we just keep getting past these calls and really, get past a great token deck. Momentary Blink, I would like if it came around and we end up in Bant. Same with Deputy of Acquittals. Guild Gates are obviously always really good. If I was going to take one of those here, I'd probably take Rakdos. But yeah, I think we're going to go with Call here. It's kind of the best card in the pack for this format. All right, what do we see? We have a Sylvan Ranger, which is excellent in a Bant deck that we're trying to build. Boros Guildgate, again, very good, especially if we abandon this opportunity and end up in a Naya deck, which is sort of similar to what we had in the first case. But I think Sylvan Ranger is going to do a lot of the same work that Boros Guildgate does while sticking to maybe a Bant deck if we wanted to go into that, keeping our opportunity around. I am keeping an eye out. We have this Sky Knight Legionnaire, Trumpeter, although I don't love Trumpeter, and the Guildgate, so it looks like Naya could potentially be the open color combination, in which case I will be fine going into that and abandoning the opportunity, but I think this leaves us slightly more open to kind of go in either direction right now. But we're looking to be base green-white, which usually makes me want to be in the token deck rather than the other deck, the multicolor deck. Okay, so yeah, it looks like the Naya theme, Naya/Bant, but more Naya is continuing. Tatamunged Witch can be very good. I've been very impressed with it in these tokeny decks. Obviously, Sky Knight Legionnaire could also be very good. I think we're probably going to be moving a little bit into Naya here. We could definitely take a Coiling Oracle and stick to Bant, but my instinct is telling me that I think going into Naya might be better. I could take the Sky Knight. It's a little tougher on the mana, especially because we look to be base green-white. I think the Witch is going to be the pick here. It's very close. I could see Witch, Oracle, or Sky Knight pretty easily in this pack. But I'm going to go with Witch. It seems like sort of the most flexible option. Okay, so here we have Chandra's Outrage, which if we are in pretty solid Naya colors will be, a good card if we have enough fixing. Giant Baiting is a decent card in the tokens deck. You can definitely populate pretty easily and stuff. And we've got 2 populate cards here, although we only have 1 call and not any other token making. I'm inclined to abandon this opportunity for now. And I think I'm probably going to want to go with Rootborn Defenses. I know that Marshall doesn't really like Rootborn Defenses that much, but I've been pretty impressed with it. Yeah, this is a tough pick. It could be Giant Baiting, it could be Rootborn, it could be Chandra's Outrage. I'm going to go with Rootborn, although that could be very wrong. Okay, Baloth Cage Trap is just a great card for the tokens deck, so we're going to go with that over a Gruul Guildgate. I really do want the Guildgate, but at the same time, we don't even have to be Naya right now, meaning we don't have to be red. And Guildgates are easier to pick up than I thought at first in this format. So if there's a card of the power level of this trap, I'm just going to take it if we're still in Pack 1 and probably even Pack 2 over a Guildgate. And towards the end, if I'm really missing on Guildgates, I will have to prioritize them over more powerful cards. Okay, what do we have here? Pitfall Trap is fine. Rebel Belt Maka is pretty good. Attendant Knight I don't really like. The token is pretty much worthless in terms of populating, and you tend to get pretty flooded on 3-drops. Yeah, Youthful Knight is a fine 2-drop, but 3/3 tokens are really the most important thing going on, whether you want to be blocking them in the control decks or populating them in your normal decks. So I am going to go with the Maka here, but it seems like Naya is pretty clearly the open color combo. Yeah, so we're going to go with Centaur Healer here. Totally fine, playable. Isn't a token, but is basically the next best thing in terms of in terms of this kind of deck. I might go with the second Root Board Defenses here over the Pitfall Trap. Pitfall Trap is a lot more of a controlled X card. You can still play it in these kind of decks and it's fine, but it's really not advancing your game plan nearly as well. And Rootborn seems a lot better if we have a good deck, so I'm going to be optimistic here and go with that. Alright, I will take a Druid's Deliverance. We're getting a lot of Populate. We still need the tokens going on, so again, any call of the Conclave that we can pick up will be great. I will basically take those over almost anything. Yeah, unfortunately, our Pack 2 I don't think is going to be very good because of the fact that we passed Blade Splicer and Master Splicer. Pick one. I was hoping to maybe be led into more of a control deck, but we kind of just were led into the tokens deck. And we also don't have much fixing, so I think our Pack 2 might be a little bit disappointing, but hopefully we've set ourselves up for a very good Pack 3. And, you know, in any pack in a set like Modern Masters, you can really pick up some powerful stuff regardless of whether it's being cut or not, because the packs are just so good. So yeah, here I think it's a pretty easy Linvala. Vital Splicer would be amazing in our deck, but I think just a 3/4 flying for 5 is going to trump that, even if we are in Phantom. Sunhome Guildmage, obviously very good. Yeah, but like I would take the Splicer over it. This is just such a powerful card. But yeah, especially because we're not. I don't know. I think Linvala is just like a very unique. You know, it's better than most things you can be doing at common and uncommon in this format. We're really looking for fixing and calls of the Conclave in this pack. This count like token making effects is really what I mean by that. Although obviously cheaper is better. That's like our main priority in this pack, especially because we're possibly going to be being cut. I'm going to probably end up trying to pick up Guild Gates. If the person next to us is taking like more powerful cards over them, this will potentially be the pack where I pick those up. But it's obviously highly dependent on what's actually in the packs. So yeah, I could see this Linvala not being correct here, but we're going to go with it anyway. Okay, that is a Damnation. Damnation is incredibly powerful, but we can't really take it. And since we're not really in an 8-person draft, we can't really use this information at all in terms of playing around it, which is good. We won't have to necessarily play around it. So yeah, I think I'm going to go with a Wayfaring Temple here. I could easily see it being Gruul Guildgate. But Temple is very powerful in these token decks. So I think I'm going to take that. Again, I am taking a powerful card over Fixing, which doesn't feel good, and I'm a little bit worried about that. I'm always worried about my mana in formats like this. But that being said, I'm hoping that we're just going to be able to pick up the mana. And if not, we can always, you know, make something work in more of a restricted color sense. Okay, here we have Eyes in the Skies or an Arid Mesa. I think I'm going to take the Mesa. This is a case of taking mana fixing instead of token making things. This pack isn't good enough that I don't think Eyes in the Skies will wheel, unfortunately, and we would really love having one. But I don't think we can afford to pass up any more fixing here, especially untapped fixing, which is just so great in like an aggressive deck like this. We could still be splashing the red instead of playing it, but if that were the case, I would really like to have more calls of the Conclave and be able to play all these populate things. So for now, this is pretty close. You know what? I may be considering taking Eyes in the Skies here. No, I'm going to go with the Mesa. I don't know if it's right. Alright, we get a Path to Exile. That's amazing. I'm surprised that it made it to us, considering that we passed Blade Splicer and Master Splicer. But we will certainly take it. Glad that we took Fixing, because now we're getting like a powerful spell. And no Fixing, it looks like. Yeah, Ranger Vios wouldn't really do anything in our deck. Pitfall Trap's fine, but Path is obviously way better. Yep, seems like a pretty clear path here, and then we're just hoping to get more interesting decisions going into the next pack. By interesting decisions, I mean options, really, between fixing and playables. If the playables are good enough, we can take them, but we would definitely like to have fixing. Okay, we have not really fixing here. Banishing Stroke is a fine card. It's a 6-mana removal spell that sometimes you can luck into. So I might just take that here. I don't think we're going to be trying to splash anything like black in this deck. Explorer would be fine, but we really want to be playing 2-drops, like attacking 2-drops on turn 2. So I'm just going to go with Banishing Stroke here. I don't love it. It's not the best card in our deck, but I think we'll probably play it. Really looking for fixing, and oh man. Why? Gruul War Chant is so good. I think I just have to take it over more fixing. It sucks that all the most powerful cards are in the packs where we could also take fixing. Oh man. We're not that much of a token deck right now, but we really want to be. I think War Chant is just a powerful enough card that we're going to take it. And no fixing, but another very good card that keeps us in red. Keeps our mana bad, but keeps our deck very powerful. Yeah, we'll take Sunhome Guildmage. Still no real fixing. We can take an Urbis Protector, or we can take something like a Slaughterhorn or a Giant Baiting. I feel like we could turn into sort of a Giant Baiting deck with like these Druid's Deliverances and stuff like that. But Urbis Protector does some of the same stuff. I think we're going to go with that here. Skyfisher might be okay too. Slaughterhorn would be okay. Especially because we're base green-white. But yeah, I'm just going to take the Token Maker. And we get another Sunhome. Sure. We're really looking for just tons of fixing in our last pack. Okay, thank God. We got back the Gruul Guildgate and a sign that this deck is pretty open in terms of the table. That's great. Yeah, hopefully we get back one more piece of fixing in this pack. That would be great. We also have a Sylvan Ranger, so I'm not feeling too horrible now that we got that Gruul Guildgate, but definitely there's a lot that we need to fill out in terms of the deck in this last pack. That being said, in this format, I've had some very good pack 3s, and a lot of that could just be luck, but I think a lot of it also is the way I draft really sets me up very well for pack 3. I take a little bit of time to read the signals in pack 1, and then once I really have those, I'm going to take this over Pitfall Trap. I just don't think we're going to main deck Pitfall Trap. Once I have those, I tend to pick like the deck that's truly open in pack 1. And so while my pack 1 might not be great because I've taken a little time to stay open, and then my pack 2 might also not be great because I've really been reading the signals coming one way and not the other way. My pack 3 tends to be very good. I tend to get paid off. That being said, there's not much payoff in this pack. There's no fixing. Bronzebeak Moa is like a fine card, but even in the deck it's designed for, this token stack, I'm really not impressed with it. I'm assuming Strength in Numbers will wheel. I just don't think that card's very good. We'd probably play it in a deck like this, but I don't like it. We might even just take Rebel Belt Maka over the Moa here. Like, I just don't even know if I want to play it in the deck it's designed for, which says a lot. And Maka would be very good. We are pretty much straight up Naya, regardless of how good our mana is going to turn out. We can't really avoid that at this point. This is pretty tough. I think I'm just going to go with the Moa. It's got to be fine in a deck that it's designed for. And the Maka might come around too. Yeah, I'm just going to take the Moa. My instinct is almost telling me not to, but I don't know. Okay, we have fixing, but not the right kind, which is just brutal. I like probably playing Explore main deck here. Might just have to take this Lone Missionary just as like a 2-drop, and hopefully we can kind of be an aggressive deck that tries to steal games with its 2-drops. in this format, although there's tons of 3/3s in the format, so this Lone Missionary is not going to be very good in combat at all. Yeah, this pack is just pretty bad for us, to be honest. So I'm just gonna take this Lone Missionary. Probably not gonna end up playing it, but if I have to, I will. Okay, Jungle Shrine. We're basically taking that over anything. Unfortunately, we have to pass a Woolly Thoctarian and Eyes in the Skies, which are both very good for us, and a Sylvan Ranger too. But this is just, I mean, literally like the only card we want right now. I mean, take a look at this deck, right? We've got red, white, green, 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 white, green, white, green, white, red, green, white, white, green, white, white. We just, yeah, we need all the fixing we can get. Hopefully this wheels, that would be sweet. Hopefully this wheel, I mean, I don't think it will. There's actually quite a few cards in this pack that could wheel, so I am going to hold out hope, but we just have to take the Jungle Shrine here. Okay, Ground Assault is great. No fixing, but we'll take a very good card. Considering that the cards in our deck are so powerful, that they would still be powerful even if played on sort of a later turn, like Sunhome Guildmage, it doesn't matter as much if we need to spend a lot of time to get our mana going in a deck like this compared to a normal aggressive deck. That's why it matters that all of the cards in this format are so good. But that being said, we obviously still want to have very good mana. That's the thing that actually gives us an advantage over other decks in the format. I basically spend all of these videos just talking about my mana, which is especially true in this format, but true in a lot of Limited. I just think that the mana is by far the most important thing about Limited, in case you guys haven't figured that out already. Okay, we get another Call of the Conclave. That is excellent. Yeah, we will for sure pick this up. It looks like we could, we could play Center Healer. Rocks Warmonk looks kind of like a card we could play, but we're basically just straight Naya. And yeah, Call is going to be awesome for us with all of the... It lets us potentially play more of these Populate spells, although I don't know if we will. We don't have actually that many tokens, unfortunately. But yeah, we'll take this Call, hopefully wheel the Healer. Okay, we get an Eyes in the Skies, that's great. We'll take that. We could play Giant Baiting, especially with all these Populate things. This is just a bad card. I mean, it's like clearly put in here to be a fine card in an aggressive deck, but it's easy to kill when it's not attacking, so it's not even that hard for the control decks to deal with. Cower and Fear is already so good against a deck like this, so playing a 3-mana 1/1 is just asking for trouble. Okay, Arachnus Web is like a decent playable. We could take another Robobot Maka, which we might do. Just kind of have like a Blood Rush / token deck. Yeah, I think we'll probably take it. It's the best card in the pack for us. Yeah, we're really looking for more fixing and more good cards. There's fixing, there's a good card. I think we just got to take the fixing, though, at this point. We do basically have enough playables. Take another Maka, or we could take Strength in Numbers, actually. That might be the better pick. Yeah, at this point, I think having one of these is probably a useful thing to have. Okay, we'll take a sideboard card. We're at 23 playables right now. I really don't like our mana. In fact, this deck kind of failed in terms of getting together enough mana for the cards we want to cast. But, we'll try it out. We'll see how it goes. Maybe we can scrape a 2-1 out of this. It sucks that the decks I've drafted... Oh, that's nice, this guy. That's awesome. It sucks that the decks I've drafted in these videos have been, I think, probably my worst 2 decks of the format. I don't know if it's because I'm spending more mental energy on trying to comment on what I'm taking, or if it's just that I've gotten slightly less lucky and, when I'm recording. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're still fine. These decks are still fine. Just not up to really my standard. I don't think I'm going to get a trophy out of this one. Although, you never know. We have one cut here, which is interesting. Might be Explore, might be something like the Moa. We get to still keep taking cards. I guess we'll take Madcap Skills because we can maybe cast that. Okay, we get another Centaur Healer. We'll play that, so now we have 2 cuts. We could cut the Makas. That actually puts us at not too many red cards, which I really like. These Guild Mages we can play later, so we can be mostly, and which we can play even if we can't activate it. Could play a Giant Baiting. We could maybe bring that in terms of like a better package. Yeah, alright. So this deck, somehow again, the mana always ends up shaping up to be at least better than you were expecting within the last few picks, it seems. But yeah, let's consider whether or not we want to be more of a tokeny deck, first off, with these Rootborn Defenses and the Giant Baiting and these Druid's Deliverances. I don't think this is the direction we want to go in terms of the main deck, but we could try to pull it off. We would cut something like Sky Knight Legionnaire. We would cut probably the Explorer. We would cut like these 2, and maybe like 1 Guild Mage or something. And then the problem though with the Giant Baiting is that you really need to have a lot of mana to actually populate the token, which just makes it really tough to actually get going. So I don't think we want to do that. Yeah, I think cutting the Makas was the right play. So yeah, as is then, we could cut something like a Sky Knight and bring in like a Rootborn Defenses, which I think is actually going to be a fine play. Rootborn Defenses as just a combat trick is not good, but you can usually try to get a card out of it. And we have like enough populate, like 2 calls is not as many as I would want, not nearly actually, but it's still enough where Rootborn Defenses is going to be great sometimes, and then just like we'll be able to get a card of value out of it other times. I don't love the Moa in this deck, but I think we just want to play it. It's fine. It's great with Eyes in the Skies, Baloth Cage Trap, stuff like that. We could cut an Explorer for a Druid's Deliverance, but I think our mana is bad enough that this helps us out just a little bit on that end. So yeah, I think this is the deck we're going to run with. Let's see how good we can get the mana to be. So in terms of red sources, I want ideally 5. And this actually, playing 1 mountain does give us 5. 1, 2, 3. We only have 4 red cards, which is a lot less than I was thinking. So we could go down to 1 mountain. And then in terms of green, this is 3. So we would want at least 8 green sources. So hopefully we can have 5 there. And then in terms of white, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8, 8, 5, which is actually not too bad. It's not good. It's definitely not good. I would much rather have better mana in this format. But this deck is respectable. Oh, we actually get to add another land. In that case, do I want it to be green or white? Probably green. We actually have 6 red sources with the Sylvan Ranger. So yeah, I'm gonna put in a green source, I think. I think that's gonna be how we want to go about this. Alright. So we've got 9, 8, 5, which is not too bad, and we've been able to cut most of our red down to like a reasonable splash. Even though these are 2-drops, which isn't great, they're still relevant later in the game. So yeah, alright, we're going to run with this and see how it goes. I will see you guys in round 1.